Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today's topic at hand is going to be talking about what I deem is the most overrated scale that we as guitar players use when practicing. I want to debunk it, explain why I really dislike it, and then at the end of this video, I want to give you guys some ideas of what you could do to replace this said scale that I'm about to talk about, okay? So let's hop on in, man. All I ask is that you subscribe if you haven't done so. This channel's dope and you're missing out, alright? So with that being said, what is this scale that I'm talking about? So let's get started. So I'm tuned down to E flat standard right now on my Les Paul Custom. I'm gonna be playing an A flat, technically an A flat scale, but just for the sake of simplicity, I'm just gonna call it in the key of A, okay? So the scale that I think is so overrated is what's called the spider scale, or the spider technique, the spider exercise. Yes, that chromatic walk up all 6 strings, and then when you get out of room, you ascend 1 semitone up and go back down. To me, I find that to be one of the biggest time wasters when trying to get better at comprehending and understanding the guitar. So what's the purpose of this exercise? I wouldn't even call it a scale because there's barely any sort of like music theory behind it. Basically all it is just a chromatic walk on 4 different semitones, and then you go to the next string. There's no real theory involved. But the idea with this scale is to develop your hand synchronization, hand-finger synchronization, as well as your dexterity with all 4 fingers. I 1000% agree with that. I'm not saying like that doesn't help to some degree. However, when in music are you ever going to do this run other than just, you know, this one time right here? Like, that sounds kind of cool, I guess, but like that's literally the only thing you can get from this scale, this practice regime. And the only reason why I'm feeling so compelled to make this video is because this is like the go-to technique to develop hand synchronization and dexterity. And obviously I disagree because I'm making an entire video dedicated to this scale and explaining why I feel like though there could be better alternatives, okay? I'm always trying to explain this to you guys, for those of you who have signed up for private lessons, where like a lot of you guys bring this to the table and say, hey, do you ever see the spider exercise? Is this a good, viable exercise to get better at guitar? I always say yes, but do you want to try something different? I never tell anybody that you should or shouldn't do anything on the guitar, but if my opinion's asked, I certainly will give it, right? I feel as though the spider exercise is really not that useful other than creating this one run, one sound. Like, you're out of tricks once you do that, right? What could we do that is better? Well, in my opinion, I think it's important to play with a purpose as well as practice with a purpose. And what I mean by that is we can get some dexterity and some hand synchronization, as well as playing with a purpose and using some theory and choosing to omit some notes and choosing to actually play some notes, i.e. a diatonic scale. So we're going to be doing a little bit of modes today, a little bit of a major scale today, but basically I'm going to give you guys 3 different scales and just run through them real quick. So I love 3 note per strings diatonic scales, okay? First one we're going to do is Ionian, then Dorian, and then Phrygian. The first 3 modes, the first 3 scales out of all 7, okay? So the first one is just plain old Ionian, aka major. I use that scale every single day when I'm playing. And if you notice, you're doing the exact same idea of hand synchronization and getting, you know, all 4 fingers in the fight, but you're not just doing the same repetitive chromatic scale over and over and over. You're playing with a purpose. So I feel like this approach is incredibly more practical compared to, say, a chromatic walk up and down the fretboard. Because at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself the question, do you want to be really good at hand synchronization, or do you want to be really good at playing guitar and playing music? I think we all would agree the latter is what we're going for, right? So why are we going to waste our time practicing a scale that has very little musical context? You know what I'm saying? Next scale we're going to use, let's go up here, let's go to B Dorian, okay? Like I said, we're half step down, but for the sake of simplicity, B Dorian. And then if you want to be cool, go back to the tonic, go back to the root note. So again, just another option of where we have all 4 fingers in the fight, and we're just doing something that has musical purpose. Last one I'm going to use right here is C sharp Phrygian. So that is just the third mode, the third extension of, you know, the mode of a Ionian or whatever. That's a whole different lesson. Not talking about modes right now, just talking about dexterity and finger synchronization. We can do something very similar to the spider walk, but now we can do that same very technique using these three mode shapes. That turnaround from Ionian to Dorian, you kind of have to do a little weird little turnaround here. You have to go. And you can do several different techniques in terms of how you want to approach this pattern. You can economy pick it. You can legato it. Last but not least, you can actually create with it and write a little solo with it. So everybody, I hope this video helped out. It's just another way to think about the guitar in terms of practicing. I find the spider technique very, limiting and not useful at all in a song setting. And like I said a couple minutes ago, do you want to be really good at doing the spider exercise and hand synchronization, or do you want to be really good at being a musician? It's no different than, do you want to be an architect, or do you want to be really good at putting nails inside of a board? You know what I'm saying? And last but not least, this is just one man's opinion on how to approach the guitar and just how to think about theory and practicing and all the above, right? I'm not saying I'm right, and I'm not saying you're wrong or vice versa. Just a conversation. With that being said, everybody, what do you guys think of my thoughts and opinions? Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Let's have a nice discussion, man. It's all in good fun. Just trying to help out, okay? So with that being said, everybody, be sure to follow me on all my social media. It's down below in the links in the description, i.e. TikTok, Facebook, Spotify, subscribe to this channel, all the above, man. With that being said, I'm out of here. Y'all stay safe, stay healthy, stay metal. See you guys next time. Later.